to go viral. All right, so check out Chiefs all-pro receiver Tyreek Hill getting in some drill work with wide receivers coach Keith Williams. So you're familiar with this. What is Tyreek working specifically on?
Yeah, this is the box drill right here. And one reason why I didn't think Tyreek Hill and the reason why speed guys aren't really good at wide receiver, because they can run fast, but they don't know how to stop. So what he's training them is how to make him stop and how does he accelerate in and out of the break. Watch his head placement. He wants to keep his head on the defender and just running the top of the route. You can't run an NFL wide receiver and run these types of routes over and over again. So they take away the pounding on the body, and they have you run in 5-yard increments so you can work on it. Wide receiver coaches watching, they got video on it. These are all eyeballs to correct your technique, but they allow you to burst in and out of your break. So when the coach says run in and out of your break, that's what he's trying to assimilate right there, trying to control his speed. So when he gets to his mark, he wants to put his foot in the ground and accelerate in and out of the break. That's the way you're able to train yourself.
All right, that was incredibly informative, but I feel like you left out a very important part. That drill, that specific drill he was doing, was invented by who?
By me. Oh, box drill.
Prior to Cris Carter, that drill did not exist.
I did that drill right there.
Do you get a royalty from it?
No. I did that drill right there for Nick Saban and sent him a video. He offered me a job to coach his wide receivers.
Had to move to Tuscaloosa.
Don't you feel like if you invented a drill,
I would have led with it.
You would have led with it.
Chris, he always surprises me, man. Don't know. He's when he's.
I mean, the number of coaches taught me 2 or 3 parts of it. I put it all together.
Like a good inventor. You take different things from other people, make it your own.
All right, here we go. Stories to start your morning. Yesterday, NBA.com released an all-decade team voted on by a panel of which Nick was not on.
I don't work for NBA.com.
Okay, I'm just saying you wish you were on the panel. You're not on the panel. Okay. The first team was, am I right? LeBron, KD, Steph, Harden, and Kawhi. Did they get this right, Nick?
I want to give them credit. They did absolutely get this right. There were 4 no-brainers. LeBron, KD, Steph, and Harden, no doubt about it.
Yes.
The one other front court spot, when I saw Kawhi, my immediate reaction was, is that a little recency bias? Came into the league mid-decade, doesn't have enormous statistical resume. But the other people he's up against would be Melo, Blake Griffin, and Anthony Davis. Kawhi is the best individual success of those guys, 2 Defensive Player of the Years and the Finals MVP and team success. So I do think they got the first team right. I got some issues with second and third team. We don't have to get into that. They got the first team right, though. It's a good list.
Yeah, they had to get Kawhi on there. He had to be on the first team, especially the run that he went on. If you look at before the injury and look at his playoff averages, hey, man, my man Dusty got me hip to that one. He's been doing it for long enough, especially he deserves it.
All right, moving on to the Jets now. New head coach Adam Gase said that Sam Darnold was one of the biggest reasons he decided to take the job. Gase says Darnold is, quote, not the kind of quarterback you're looking to protect. You're looking to turn him loose. See, what does Darnold need to do to improve in year number 2 now?
Well, first, to Adam Gase, stop lying. The reason why you took the job, because they offered it to you. All right?
You just got fired in Miami.
It's not
whatever
like
train was coming through, you were jumping on.
You and Greg Williams. Oh, I got 20 people calling right now. I told them, no, don't want to be a head coach. I want to be a coordinator. Yes, Sam Darnold, I like the fact that he was really honest, because offensive coordinator head coaches, when you don't have a thrower of the football, you have to try to manufacture. And they tell every lie. They tell a bunch of stuff. Sam Darnold is the truth. He is going to be a star. Put some wideouts around him. They got L. Bell back there. This should be a perfect combination. Adam Gase, Sam Darnold, looking forward to it.
I don't know if what Gase is saying is going to prove out to be correct, that Darnold's going to be the quarterback he's talking about. But if you're a Jets fan, you love hearing this, because the last thing you want to hear when you spend a top 3 pick on a quarterback is, well, we don't want to ask him to do too much. We're going to lean on Le'Veon Bell. No, you drafted this guy to be the face of your team and eventually the best player on your team. Gase seems to have the faith he could be that sooner than later.
All right, last season, Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey was on the field for 91% of Carolina's offensive snaps. That was by far the highest percentage in the league. Now the team wants to reduce the amount of time he's on the field, but not reduce his touches. So, see, how important is McCaffrey to the Panthers' success this season?
Outside of Cam Newton and Ron Rivera, he's the most important in the whole organization. I believe he set it as a goal last season, came up a little short. wants 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. Man, there's only been 2 other people to be able to do it. I believe he's going to be the next guy to do it. You don't have to be on the field more. What they're basically telling you is when he's on the field,
he's touching the ball.
He's getting the football.
Right.
He's not going to be out there running no decoy stuff.
And not going to be out there asking him to block as much, which it helps some of the wear and tear on his body as well. So I think this is smart. I think he would have gotten the 1,000, I think, last year if Cam didn't get hurt, which hurt his passing yards and obviously.
One thing to watch out for, because they're going to limit the number of plays. Watch defenses start to cue in. When he's in the game and it's a passing situation, let's blitz him, make him stay in so they can't throw to him, which keeps his reps down.
All right, on to the Cowboys now. In a quick geography check, the team is in Oxnard, California, training for the season. Ezekiel Elliott is still in Cabo, Mexico, waiting for a new contract. And quarterback Dak Prescott, who himself is waiting for a new deal, is still being asked about it all. Here's what he had to say about Zeke not being at training camp.
Well, I said I talk to him often, so.
Well, I didn't, I think this week, though. I mean,
No, I'm just messing with you. But, yeah, I have. I mean, I've talked to him. We've communicated. And as I said, I mean, obviously we missed the player that he is, but I know that he's getting better. I know that he's working on his game. He's in shape. He's going to make sure that he comes back. And when he's back on his team, he's a better player than when than before camp or before the spring. And then, yeah, I mean, he's a good friend. Obviously, you want him out here, but that's business. Yeah, friendship is friendship and business is business. You don't cross those.
Listen, that's what you want to hear from your quarterback. It's not what we heard from Ben Roethlisberger last year when Le'Veon Bell was holding out, and he was saying, we'll deal with who we have here, meaning James Conner. So you like what you hear from Dak Prescott, but if Ezekiel Elliott continues to hold out, how does that affect Dak Prescott's ceiling, what he's able to do for this team?
I mean, Ezekiel Elliott's the best player on the team. And Dak, as much as he's trying to, the friendship gets mixed in with the business because it's impossible. You know the reason why? We only got one pie. And our friendship is based on that pie playing with the Dallas Cowboys. And if Zeke tries to if he resets the market as far as running backs, it's not going to affect Dak, but it's going to affect the ability for the Cowboys to put other players as they move forward. So it becomes impossible. Like, I'm going to call Zeke and ask him, Zeke, how your workout's going? Because I'm sure that they're talking. He alluded to that they're talking. How your contract talks going? So he's going to avoid that because Dak's 30 million, 28 million, whatever he comes in at. Like, I mean, it's
all tied into what Dak is going to eventually get.
As much as you like to be a leader and everything, if they don't get your money right, how you going to lead the team? When they drafted Randy Moss, Dennis Green called me.
That's a great story.
Hey, man, this kid, we're going to take him, Cris. I know you're going to take care of him. I said, yeah. As soon as we got off the phone, as soon as they pulled that number, Randy Moss, I called the general manager, told him I wasn't coming to Minnesota unless I got some money. Unless I got a 4-year deal. I was in year number 12, I think, then. I said, I want a 4-year deal. I want to end my career because you guys have officially drafted my replacement.
Put me on the clock.
So I know how much money he's going to be making as a first-round pick. That's not getting ready to happen. Randy and I were great friends. The business, we got the business and everything done so the friendship could thrive and flourish.
Would there have been no friendship if that deal didn't get done, if the GM said no?
Well, you wouldn't have invited.
I'm not going to extend myself, but so far.
Right.
Okay.
You know, the reason why I take very few days off here, I'm not going to help someone, assist them in their broadcasting career, then Fox come and hire them and take my spot. I'll be damned. No, if they want to get some reps, go somewhere else and get them.
Wally Pitts.
Yeah, you're not going to be, no, not going to happen to me. The business and the friendship, you have to make them work because they will coexist.
And to fill in some blanks here, because I love this story, and you know I've talked about it, as soon as the contract got worked out, then Cris called Randy, come down to Florida. We'll work out together. It wasn't so much as that Cris maybe would have just not shown up in Minnesota, but certainly wouldn't have gone that extra mile. Certainly wouldn't have done the things that Randy needed as a young player out of Marshall who had some growing up to do, I think is very fair, as almost everyone does at that age, maybe Randy in particular, and some just learning about the NFL.
Yeah, even if he had been Larry Fitzgerald, it wouldn't have mattered.
He still needed it. It would still need it.
Business is business.
Oh, you mean as far as right, because Larry's someone you've known since he was a child.
Yes.
If they'd have drafted him. As far as on Dak and Zeke, to bring it back, I mean, what was Dak without Amari? And what was he with Amari? Zeke is better. Zeke is to me, more important to Dak than Amari. Even though Amari's the guy he's throwing to, if if Zeke's not there, guess what? Amari's doubled, and you're not throwing to him that much anymore either. Guess what? All those beneficial fronts, that even those fronts you couldn't always take advantage of if you're Dak, those are gone. And now all of a sudden they are dropping extra guys into coverage. They have someone pretending to blitz who's actually going to drop back and try to trick you. So much of Dak is in a place in his career, and I don't want to act like he will always be here, but he is right now, where he needs a really stable and really advantageous 10 guys around him in order for him to be anywhere close to a force multiplier. If you remove the most important piece, if you remove the piece that defenses worry about the 5 days leading up to a game, it impacts him more than anybody, more than the offensive lineman, more than Amari, more than anybody. So yeah, listen, Dak's in a weird spot because he wants his money,
sure,
but he needs Zeke. And what he doesn't, well, I'll tell you what Dak doesn't want, is for his deal not to get done, his being Dak's, and Zeke not to show up, and the Cowboys to see 4 or 5 games of Dak without Zeke until he has his money locked in. That'll cost Dak a hell of a lot more money than Zeke getting a few extra $1 million and cutting into that salary cap pie.
It's getting complicated. By now, you've heard the hype surrounding the Cleveland